and welcome to Ep.6 of the Decyfr Handoff with myself, Neil Reynolds. And we're, of course, the podcast for new NFL fans in the UK, Germany, across mainland Europe, bringing you great voices every month from either side of the pond. And this episode, very pleased to welcome General Manager for NFL Germany, Alexander Steinforth. Alex, what an exciting time to be in your position.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me, Neil. And yes, you're absolutely right. Very exciting times for us over here in Germany, heading into the second season where we are probably on the ground with an office, with games in Germany. So very much looking forward to
that. Let's talk about last year. I mean, you've been in the job since 2021. Already, have you seen remarkable growth? Because I'm thinking historically from the days of NFL Europe, which we'll get into as we go through our conversation, there's been a fan base there for a number of decades in Germany. But has it kind of gone crazy in the last couple of years?
Yeah, as you said, Neil, Germany obviously has a rich history of American football, of the NFL. Back in the day when we had the NFL Europe, essentially in the end, it was more of a NFL Germany with a lot of German teams. And what you can still see these days is that this has been important groundwork by the NFL, by the league for fandom in Germany these days. We still have a lot of fans that really, were kind of acquired in the 90s and 2000s, which are super excited to see the NFL taking a serious step into Germany. And then over the past couple of years, especially with the help of our media partners, we've also seen a lot of young audiences coming into our broadcasting, into the product. So it's a really interesting mixture right now, with us being actually the youngest sports audience on TV and on social amongst any of the major sports. And yeah, very exciting times, a lot of demand over here, and can't wait for kind of the second Germany season to kick off.
Yeah, let's look back before we look forward. 2022, the first regular season game in Munich. I was very excited to get there. I called it a party 20 years in the making, because I'd been at the NFL Europe games all across NFL Europe. So it was a really special day. It was a privilege to be there. But I wanted to get there early, and they dropped me off. Was it still called a power party? There were power parties in NFL Europe. I don't know what the name was, but they dropped me off at the bottom of tailgate, and I walked through it. And you could tell straight away, and we'll get on to Tom Brady and his impact in a second. You could just tell it was going to be a special day. There was like a sizzle in the air, I think. And maybe it was just me reading too much into it, but it felt really special.
It definitely did, and it wasn't just you. Although obviously we're very happy you enjoyed that day. It felt very special that day. It felt very special the whole week. You already mentioned Tom Brady. That was obviously a fantastic kickoff to our Germany games. But what was really exciting for us to see it, that it was so much more than just Tom Brady. You could really feel the energy and feel the excitement amongst fans. And by fans, I mean those that have experienced the old days, so to say, that have attended NFL Europe games back in the day. But I would say probably the majority of people being in Munich that day and the whole week have been people that didn't really have that much overlap with the NFL before. But still, when they came into town, when they came to the stadium, when they came to tailgating, to the power party, as you call it, you could really see that this was probably the first time they understood what an impact the NFL has been able to make in continental Europe as well, and how different it is also from other sports that the Germans have been really used to follow, especially soccer.
You had over 800,000 people last year trying to get tickets for that Bucks Seahawks game. We'll talk about what's happening and what has happened in terms of interest for these coming two games in Frankfurt. But were you surprised by the level of interest when the Munich tickets went on sale, or was it almost a kind of I told you so? Did you believe, well, this is what we thought it would be if we were given this opportunity?
Well, I mean, we had a first idea when we looked at the registry of interest numbers before. We knew people were excited about it, but usually, at least the way I know it, is that people, are quick in signing up, but when it comes to really taking the action and making the effort, going online, buying tickets, you lose some of them. What we saw was exactly the opposite, that the excitement got even bigger. And we spoke to Ticketmaster as our ticketing partner last year, and they said they've never seen any event outside of Super Bowl that created so much demand, no matter whether it's a concert or a sporting event. So we couldn't have been more happier about how it went that first year. And I think that was just the kickoff to it, and really good to see that it manifested itself then also throughout that week in Munich. And we might come back to that later, but for us, when we look at our overall mission for Germany, it's also very important to point out that obviously the game is the most visible part of what we're doing over here, what we're doing with all our colleagues in the States and also in London. But then there's so much more that we want to do, and we are already doing, whether it's flag football, whether it's working with our GMP teams, whether it's just creating touch points for our fans. So it's an all year round mission which we're trying to fulfill, and where we're just to make the NFL as tangible as possible over here in Germany.
Perfect, because both of those are on my list for a few minutes' time. We're going to touch on both of those, the Global Markets Program and flag football and youth football, because I think that's obviously where the future of the sport lies as well. I'm sure there were many things you planned last year in Munich, a lot of meetings, a lot of planning. You probably didn't plan 70,000 German fans breaking into Take Me Home Country Roads, but what a moment. You talk about moments in sports and moments in a season. Again, it was just fantastic. It was just a celebration, wasn't it?
It was indeed. And I think those people that have been to the stadium have been lucky enough to be in the stadium, and those that have watched it on television really still keep it fond in their memories today. And it's funny, every time we have a senior stakeholder meeting and we're talking about Germany, we're using that little video piece to remind everyone of how emotional also that game in Munich was. And no matter where you start playing it, whether it's with NFL people in the States, whether it's with stakeholders over here in Germany, everyone really gets goosebumps every time we show it. So it's just reflective of how emotional, how special that day was in Munich.
I couldn't have predicted that song, but I did have an idea of how the atmosphere was going to go, because in our Sky Sports NFL coverage that day, we were offered, your typical TV studio, glass separating us from the stadium. And then right at the last minute on the day of the game, we were offered a little gantry outside where we could put the cameras, and myself and Jason Bell would be standing literally in amongst the crowd for 3 hours. And I was like, we're going outside, because I know how it's going to be.
Probably a good decision, yeah.
It was, although we couldn't hear each other. It was a good decision. It was a fun decision. You mentioned a couple of things about the Global Markets Program then. So the teams that are marketing themselves in Germany, Atlanta, New England, Kansas City, Carolina, Tampa Bay. How important is that program to do some of the lifting and to spread the message as well, to have those teams really invested in Germany?
It's very important, and we're working very closely with all of those teams almost on a daily basis. For us, obviously, it's great to take that step as a league into Germany, but when you look at fans, obviously they also want to get in touch with players, with clubs. So it's a real blessing, not just for us in Germany, but for all those markets that have teams properly activating in their market. What we see in Germany this year, and what we already saw last year, is that not just was there a lot of interest also from new clubs applying for marketing rights in Germany, but also from the level of activation, teams coming over, bringing legends over, bringing cheerleaders over, doing flag clinics over here, doing fan fests, watch parties. It's amazing to see what some of those teams have been able to put together, whilst being located and being based on the other end of the world. And I think it's a crucial piece for us here in Germany, for the whole NFL internationally, to also bring teams and players close to the fans. And that's why we're very fortunate and very happy to have that good working relationship with all of those teams.
It's moved very quickly. It's already gone from 1 game to 2, which no one would be surprised if they saw how the Munich one went. So this year, Kansas City and Miami, November the 5th, New England and Indianapolis, November the 12th. Both games in Frankfurt. The first one, the Dolphins and the Chiefs. 15 minutes, the reports are that it's sold out. I'm sure you'll probably top that at some point in the coming years. But now we're up to 1.2 million people trying to buy tickets. I mean, that must have been just an exciting day just to see, again, that level of interest and the growth from 1 game to 2 and the number of fans wanting a piece of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so we actually did have 1.5 for the first game, and then more than 3 million for the second. It's crazy. I mean, if you look at those numbers, it's nothing that the German sport market has ever seen before for any sporting event in Germany, whether it's a World Cup or a UEFA Champions League final. It is definitely unique, and that's in parts not just due to the fact that we have the reigning Super Bowl champion over here, and with the New England Patriots, one of the most successful team probably of the past 20 years, but also due to the foundation that was built in last year's Munich game, but also by the work that everyone in the league and around the league is doing all throughout the year over here in Germany, really trying to build a foundation, doing groundwork to make sure that we're not just a circus coming to town and then leaving it again, but really growing the game, growing the league in a healthy and sustainable way.
So let me just get those numbers. So 1.5 million for the first game. And did you say 3 million for the second game?
Yeah, those were the devices being logged in. Obviously, some people used multiple devices to increase their chances, but still, it is crazy given that Frankfurt this year is an even smaller stadium than Munich has been last year. Unique numbers, something I've never seen before for any sporting event. And we obviously wouldn't mind having a stadium that can hold 1 million or more people. However, that has been difficult to find in Germany so far.
Yeah, and anywhere, to be fair, but that's almost like you could sell out a season's worth of games there in Germany already. Do you always get what you want, Alex? I mean, year 1, Tom Brady; year 2, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, this is
it might look like that, but I can promise you it's always tough discussions. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's different things. One is that luckily all those 3 teams that are the designated teams, what we call them, last year and then also this year, have been teams that do hold the marketing rights to Germany, so they do have an increased interest in playing over here. Obviously, very lucky for us that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, because that's kind of the icing on the cake to have the reigning Super Bowl champion over here. But I think, and that's the good thing for us to see and market, that no matter who would have played this year in Germany, people would have been excited, because obviously it is also about the teams, but the appetite for the sport, for the league overall, is just something that stands out, that really makes us also really look forward to the next years, because no matter who you talk to that is somehow interested in sports over here in Germany, has been trying to get tickets, has been following the developments of the NFL over the past couple of months and years, and also all the great work that has been done before we had our office here on the ground. So we're super happy with the position we're in right now, but we also know how much potential there still is for us to grow.
Will it be different in Frankfurt? You mentioned it's a smaller stadium, but it's got a great history as well of American football. How do you think? What can the fans expect in Frankfurt, especially as the NFL is going to come to town for a whole 2 weekends?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different. Not just because it's a different state, it's a different culture within Germany. You just mentioned it. Frankfurt has a very rich history of American football, which also dates back to the NFL Europe days and before. What we saw when we also already back then when we selected Frankfurt as one of the host cities was the commitment and determination by all the key stakeholders that we're working with. They really want to make those games count. They really want to, show the city and the state from their best side. And I think again, it's going to be an extremely exciting setup with lots of events happening on match day, before match day, between match days, and as you already mentioned, this year we've got the special situation that it's a back-to-back game, and that we have the opportunity to activate so much more than just one match day and the days around it, but that we can really tell a story that lasts almost 2 weeks with everything that comes with it.
So how much has the Tom Brady come into play last year and Patrick Mahomes come in this year? How much has that impacted, and maybe the work you're doing anyway with flag football, with youth football? Germany again has a great history there. Sebastian Vollmer, I covered in Team Europe when he was a teenager before he went on to the NFL. Marcus Kuhn, of course, more recently, Jakob Johnson, Marcel Darbo, all flying the flag for Germany at that elite level. But how important is flag football, youth football, getting younger people experiencing the game, young boys, young girls?
For us, it's crucial. It's one of the key pillars of our strategy internationally and also here in Germany. We believe that obviously it is important to build more local faces and help grow more local faces for the league in the long run. But flag football is not necessarily just about trying to find the next talent that will eventually end up in the NFL. It's so much more. It's about getting, especially after those tough COVID years, younger kids, to do sports again, to get out of their flat, their apartment, and on the pitch and, throw some balls. It's about, setting up teams where it's one of the few sports where you have girls and boys play together. And it's essentially just about fun. It's a very, safe sport to play. I think we've set up a great tournament over here in Germany where we do regional championships in 6 cities now in Germany, which results into a national final. The winner is winning a trip to the States. So, if I would be 12, 13 years old now, I would try everything to be part of that. Of that tournament. And eventually it's about growing the sport, growing the game. As you know, Germany as well as the UK is not necessarily a country where all kids grow up playing American football of any shape or form. So we are here to work also with the federation and the league to spread the word and make kids, make their parents aware that this is a fantastic sport that really deserves being played.
Alex, you were in the room. I think you were there last October when we had the commissioner at the forum event in London. I was hosting it. I didn't mean to get a headline out of him, but we ended up with a headline about a potential European division, if you will recall. And it ended up on Pro Football Talk in America. Is it your belief, when you've seen this interest already in just a couple of years of games, do you believe Germany should or could have an NFL franchise one day?
I think what you've seen over the past couple of years over here is that there's definitely appetite for much more NFL football than we can currently fulfill, even with 2 games. Will this happen at any point soon? That's, above my pay grade and for someone else to decide. I think, the only thing we can do is to work on that level of interest we're seeing right now to make sure that people really understand that the NFL is here to stay and is, something that, is as exciting, if not more exciting than some of the alternatives that are in market right now. And everything else is a discussion where we are chiming in at some point, but which ultimately is, decided over in New York and the States overall.
See, it would be great if there was a couple of teams in London, a team in Munich, a team in Frankfurt. There was the Germany-UK rivalry. But I mean, the reality is at the moment, there's a wonderful working relationship between NFL UK and NFL Germany, and how you assist each other with these games, because suddenly we've got 5 regular season games being played in Europe this
year. Yeah, that's fantastic. And I mean, as you know, I've been to the London office yesterday, and
we had a nice party.
Yeah, it was, and am there I try to be there on a regular basis, and that's true for a lot of my colleagues over here in the German office. And why is that? Because, as you said, we have a very close relationship with the UK team, not just the UK team, also all of our international and US counterparts as well. But I think it's a special one between London and Düsseldorf, where we have our headquarters. Because there's because we're in the same time zone, but because there's also so much we're working on together, whether it's commercial partnerships, whether it's events, whether it's everything that happens around game days. So, and this list goes on for probably and dozens of more topics. So we really enjoy that working relationship. We really enjoy growing the sport, American football, the NFL, in Europe together. And yeah, I can't wait for everything that will come in the next couple of years.
The NFL, well, sport in general, really is about one game at a time, one season at a time, 1 year at a time. So this might be a little bit unfair, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's fast forward to the end of the decade. What does it look like in Germany, the NFL in Germany? What do you want to sort of see in the next 6-7 years?
That's a very good question, and I will keep it very general for now. I don't want to put too much pressure on the US colleagues of trying to get more games. But obviously, I mean, what I can say is that we would love to see the development we've seen over the past couple of years continue in a similar way, because that would mean that more people come into the sport, more people start following the NFL, that we would see more kids playing, and eventually also more young adults joining US colleges, hopefully joining the league at some point. So we just want to continue the growth path we've seen in the past, and make sure that we stay one of the most important international markets for the league, and just make sure more and more people get excited about what's happening in the NFL.
Alex, I answered my own question there. On my notepad, I wrote in big capitals, more. You answered it. Just more of everything, right? More viewers, more players, more games. Just more.
Yeah, just more. I think that's a good summary of it.
All right, perfect. Alex, thank you for your time. We are out of time on this episode. Remember, you can follow Decyfr Sport with all their updates on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Go to decyfr.com for regular news and features. But Alex, it is an exciting time. I'm going to let you get back to work, and I will see you in Frankfurt. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil.
All right, we'll see you next time here on the Decyfr Handoff. Bye for now.